y'all doing, man? Good. How's everybody's day today? Who took the SAT today?
Jacob and Scott, they on the way.
They're on the way. Okay. Everything go well?
Good.
Good. All right, man. So, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know Coach Jones and the other staff have some things that, they want to go ahead and do with you. But I do go around and I speak to a lot of different teams and corporations about success and creating the right habits. And I know all of you this year, you want to be successful. Last year, what was your record last year? 18 and 7. One thing I like to do is always ask, why in the world did you lose 7 games last year? Does anybody know why you lost 7 games last year? Let me hear it.
You wasn't
Focused.
focused.
That's key. That's key. And we're going to be talking about that in a little bit, about being focused. And since we're on being focused, I want to give you all an exercise right now. Everybody stand up. First thing we're going to do is we got to make sure we get our physiology right. All right? One thing I learned from plenty of my mentors is your physiology first. What you have to do first to get your mind is it has to get in line with your body. And the first thing you do is get your body right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on that. The first thing you need to do is get your mind and your body aligned with where you want to go first. Okay? Last year you said that you lost 7 games last year because you were not focused. I'm going to tell you right now, I've won a lot of games in my day, and that was a long time ago, it feels like. But the reason why I won a lot of championships, ACC championship, in bowl games, state championship titles when I was in high school, the reason why all of that even happened, the reason why Coach Jones won a lot of games himself, and he won a lot here this year, turned this program around. The reason why it happened is because he has a focus. Okay, last year you lost 7 games because you didn't have a focus. But most of all, let's go a little deeper. Last year you lost 7 games because you weren't disciplined enough. You weren't mature enough to win those extra 7 games, and that's why you lost them. Okay, so the fact of the matter is that maturity comes from your habits. Okay, what do you do when you wake up every single morning? Do you wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I'm tired. I gotta go to class. I gotta go to school"? Is that what you do? Most of you do. I'm guilty. Is that how your attitude is when you wake up in the morning? I'm tired, or I don't feel like going to class, or I don't want to go to school. If that's your attitude, what I want you to do when you wake up in the morning, start finding out what you're grateful for. Because what this is going to do is going to get you in the right mindset of where you're going. Okay? If I wake up in the morning and I say I'm grateful for my wife and my kid, guess what? Once I see them, guess what? I'm going to have a pretty good relationship with them during that day. Then when I walk outside of the door, my mind is in the right place. I'm thinking about positive things. I'm thinking about things that are aligned with my goals. Okay? And that's the next thing I want to talk to you all about. How many of you last year wrote down how many games you wanted to win last year? Crickets. You telling me you wanted to win how many games last year? All of them, I'm sure, right? But the reason why you missed those 7 is because of one habit you missed. You didn't write them down. You didn't see them every day. Name some of your favorite basketball players. Name them. Let me hear them. Who are they? Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Kobe. Who else? Let me tell you what all these players have in common. They're obsessed. They're obsessed with success. They are obsessed with winning games. One game at a time. And let me tell you how obsessed they are. They write them down and they look at them every single day and they look at them all day long. They get obsessed. In my field, it was football with Ray Lewis, one of the best linebackers that will ever live. This dude was obsessed, and you could see it when he stepped out on the field. When you look at Michael Jordan was obsessed with success. He stayed after practice was over with to shoot. He stayed after practice. He was obsessed. You will never be successful in life until you become obsessed with being successful. If you want to win a championship next year, you got to be obsessed with it. You got to write your goals down. You want to score well on your SAT preps, or your SAT scores, and all your ACT scores. Guess what? You got to write it down. You got to make it clear. You got to make it plain, and you have to see it every single day. You know why? Because you have to be focused, right? And what happens when you're so focused? The distractions start to come, right? It all is a test. Life will throw everything at you when you begin to focus and align your destiny with where you're going. So when you write them down and you're looking at them all day, guess who you're gonna call? Maybe your girlfriend. How many of y'all got girlfriends in here? How many girlfriends? Come on, man. How many girlfriends? Okay, you got a couple of you got girlfriends, all right? And a few of you may have some problems at home, maybe problems with parents. Let me tell you, life is gonna deal you plenty of problems, all right? But when you're focused enough on where you're going, guess what? Problems don't matter. The girlfriend has to wait. The phone calls, the texts, I gotta study. I gotta get on board with where I'm going. One thing I always learned from all of these great people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, all these gentlemen, let me tell you, what they do is when they write their goals down, when they have an opportunity, whether it's to go to a party, whether it's to talk to a girlfriend, or whether it's to do some extracurricular activity they had no business doing, guess what they do? They find out if it matches up with their goals. If they don't match up, they don't go and do it. That's called obsession. But see, you gotta be mature enough. See, I talked to Coach Jones, and I was like, what was one of your biggest problems last season? It was the maturity factor. Everybody joking around, being a clown, right? That's why you lose 7 games, right? That's why you lost those 7 games, because you weren't mature enough. When you can get obsessed with where you're going, there's a maturity that comes with it. There's a discipline that comes with it. How many times a week do you practice? How many times do you come in this gym to practice? A couple times a week? A few times a week? Yeah, just in general. You practice every single day, right? And even when you're not in the gym, you need to be practicing still. You need to be looking at some of the greatest players who played the game, actually studying them. Success leaves clues. All you got to do is follow people who've done it already. Who wants to go to the next level next year? If you're going there next year, or you're planning on going there. You're planning on going to college, right? You want to play at the next level? You got to do what the next level people do. Most of you have to sit up here and you have to make the decision that you're going to be a different type of man. You're going to be a different type of person. All right? When you step up and you look in the mirror every single morning, find out who you're going to be. You need to tell yourself who you're going to be. And that gets to my next habit. It's called self-talk. Because plenty of the world, plenty of your so-called friends, plenty of your family members are going to tell you what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot achieve. The world is constantly going to keep you in this little box, telling you you can be nothing greater than this. And this is where you need to stay, in your own little circle, right? But what I need you to understand is that that's not where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be outside of the box. You're supposed to be great. You were destined for greatness. You were destined to be a champion. And next year, the season coming up, you're supposed to actually be champions this year. But you can do it if you make the decision to do it. If you create the habits that successful people have. All right? So what we're going to do is, we're going to make sure we wake up in the morning, we're going to talk about what we're grateful for. That's going to get our mind right. That's what successful people do. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about why we are waking up doing what we're doing. If your why doesn't make you cry, guess what? It's not big enough. Anybody can say, I want to go in, I want to earn $1 million, I want an NBA ring, I want to go to the NFL, I want to do all of these great things. Anybody can say that. But here's the problem. Why do you want to do it? What's your point? What's your point? And why do you want to achieve these things? Why do you want to win a state champion or
Conference championship.
A conference championship next year? Why? Why do you want to do it? For what? Is it because you actually want to do something with yourself and go to the next level? Is it because you want to be an example for your brother or your sister or for someone in the community? Is it because you just want to actually prove to yourself that if you actually were disciplined enough and mature enough to make the decision on doing something and follow through with it, you can actually achieve it? You see, let me tell you what my why is. So I have a 1-year-old, right? And I have a wife. Those are my why. This is why I'm here today, is because I don't give up on my why. You see, if your why doesn't make you cry, you cannot be successful. You need to find a why. It needs to tear you up inside when you can't live for your why. Find out what your why is. I need you to get the right type of perspective, okay? Because this is a very short period of your life and it's about to end this fast. Trust me, Coach Jones will tell you, you're living through it right now. Some of you are seniors, and some of you are, whether it be juniors or freshmen and sophomore, this is about to be it. This high school experience is about to be over with. And you're about to be on to the next level of your life. My question to you is, do you want to actually seize the moment? Do you want to take the time today and say that I'm going to wake up every single day, I'm going to be better than the man I was yesterday? Because that's who you need to be in order to be a champion. I always ask teams and I ask corporations, especially when you're dealing with sales, I say to them, do you want to be the lion or the gazelle, right? Anybody ever heard of that story? You've never heard of the story of the lion and the gazelle? Let me tell you the story about the lion and the gazelle. Every single day, the gazelle wakes up and he knows every single day that he has to run for his life. Every single day. And if he knows if he does not outrun the lion, he will die. But then on the flip side, you have the lion, king of the jungle, right? He knows that if he doesn't kill the gazelle, him and his people don't eat. It's a matter of life and death. It's a matter of your choices. Do you choose today to be a champion? Do you choose today to be a greater man than you were yesterday? All you can do is make the choice today that you're going to be better than yesterday. You need to create the habits that successful people have, that your successful basketball players have, the successful business people have. They all have the same habits and the same rituals. They deal with what they're grateful for. They find out what their goals are. They write them down. They make them plain. They get obsessed over them. They look at them over and over and over and over and over again. So when they get distracted, they look at the distraction like it's a joke because the distraction doesn't line up with their destiny. It doesn't line up with their goals. Who has dreams? Who has dreams in here? Anybody have dreams? Well, guess what? If you haven't written down your goals, your dreams are nothing but a wish. It's a joke. It's a joke. You need to write your goals down. I'm going to say it over and over. You have to write them down. I'm telling you this because I've done it. I'm telling you this because I've worked with successful people. I've been coached by the best. I'm telling you, you need to write them down. You need to know what your why is. You need to get your philosophy right. Get away from people who are not building you up. Get away from your friends who are tearing you down. I don't care if it's family members. I don't care if it's friends. I don't care if it's the community. Anybody that's supposedly for you, guess what? If they're giving you any kind of negative energy, if they're giving you any kind of negative word, guess what? Get the hell away from them. You have no business. They have no business in your circle. None. You will not succeed if you are hanging around a bunch of jokers. You will not succeed if you hang around a bunch of people who are broke. You want to make $1 million? Go hang around with Warren Buffett. Probably don't even know who he is, but let me tell you, he's one of the richest men in the world. You want to be the most successful basketball player? Go hang around Michael Jordan. That's in my opinion, but that's up to you, who you think is the most successful basketball player. The thing is all you have to do is imitate what these people are doing. That's it. Just imitate them. That's it. Make sure that you wake up every day, look at yourself in the mirror, and take a good look at yourself and be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Say, man, you know what? Am I better than I was yesterday? Or did I make an excuse at practice that, I ain't giving my all because coaches aren't showing up? Or maybe because I'm not in the gym putting the preparation in so that I can win those 7 games that I lost last year. Maybe I didn't do that in practice today. Maybe I'm just going through the motions. When I played at the University of Maryland, the first thing that our coaches always told us that if you go through the motions, and I'm talking about going through the motions in your warm-ups, if you go through the motions, we're starting the whole practice over. I'm talking about we go through 24 periods. I'm talking about an hour and a half in. And our coach says start the whole practice over. You know why he says start the whole practice over? Because you can't perfect small, you will never be able to be a champion. You can't have big. You can't have big if you can't perfect the small. You can't perfect doing warm-ups and actually taking it seriously to warm up properly so you don't pull muscles and injure yourself when you actually playing. Guess what's going to happen? You're not going to win a championship because you can't even handle the little things. And that's on the court. What are you doing off the court? Oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like studying for this class. Those are nothing but freaking excuses. Successful people, champions don't have excuses. None. They get rid of excuses. They get rid of the I can't attitudes. Okay? So, I'm going to say again. Who's the leader on the team? Who's the leader? And it's a daggone shame that everybody's not raising their hand. This is your team. This ain't Coach Jones' team. This is nobody else's team. This is your team. At the end of the day, y'all get to look at each other. Win or lose, it's your fault. See, when you are a successful person, you learn to take responsibility for yourself. You learn to take responsibility for the wins and the losses in your life. And I'm talking about on the court and off the court. When things don't go your way, you say, it was my bad. It was my bad we didn't win that game. And next game it's not going to happen. You ever heard Michael Jordan after a game when he lost time? I can't remember, but it was one of those playoff games. And it was so burned up on the inside that he had lost to this team. He said it'll never happen again. He took ownership. When you're a leader, you take ownership. Leaders are successful. All of you should raise your hand when I ask you, who's a leader on this team? Let me ask you again, who's a leader on this team? Exactly. So own up to it. It's nobody else's responsibility to win these games but you. It's nobody else's responsibility to practice for the SATs, to study, to make sure that you're on honor rolls, and to get the grade point averages that you are supposed to get so you can go to the next level but you. Don't look at your parents, don't look at your coaches, look at yourself in the mirror. That's real talk. That's real talk. It's nobody else's responsibility but you. Say it after me. It's nobody's responsibility but me.
Nobody's responsibility.
And to say it with conviction, it's nobody's responsibility but me.
Nobody's responsibility but me.
You need to believe it. You need to receive it. It's nobody's responsibility but you. You a man. You a man, right? Exactly. It ain't your mama's job, it ain't your daddy's job, it ain't nobody's job. Some of you may come from a broken home, and I'm still going to tell you, it's your job, it's your responsibility. You don't need anybody else in your life all over your shoulder talking about, oh, you can do it. Motivate yourself. Motivate yourself. That's what successful people do. That's what winners do. We motivate ourselves. And we know what else we do? We find to where we can feed our minds. You see, your mind is like soil, right? We can listen to Drake. I love Drake. I love Pac. I love Biggie. I love Jay-Z. I love all of these great rappers. I love them all, right? I love them, right? They give me energy. They fire me up. They feed my ego, right? It feels great. But the problem is that they're not feeding me what I need so I can win, right? So let me tell you what you need to do. You need to make sure that you're feeding your mind something good. I'm talking about hanging around people, the right people, and feeding your mind. I don't talk, if you don't like to read, listen to an audio. Who likes to get on YouTube? Y'all have the internet at your disposal. Get on the internet. Listen to Eric Thomas. Listen to Tony Robbins. Listen to people that are going to motivate you and feed your mind. Because your mind is like soil. Whatever you feed it, it's going to give it right back to you. Whatever seed you plant in this world, you're going to get it back. Okay? So if I'm feeding my mind a bunch of junk, guess what? You will look like a bunch of junk. I didn't say there was anything wrong with rap. I didn't say anything was wrong with listening to some of your music. But if you're going to be successful, you need to actually learn to change up what you're listening to. Who you're listening to. You have a coaching staff around here, and I'm sure administration, I'm sure some of your parents are very supportive of where you're going and your dreams, your destiny, and what God has planned for your life. But there's going to come a time where people are going to come into your life that, trust me, they don't need to be there. Most of them, biggest downfall of every man is a woman. Be very careful. I'm keeping it real with you. Be very careful. Okay? Keep your priorities on where you're going. And when you can write your goals down, that is your roadmap. It is your roadmap to your dreams. All right? All right, so let's stand up. We're gonna end this off real good. We're gonna end this off right now. All right, we're gonna stop this up. Rest of the day today. All right? And take what I said seriously, man. Take what I said seriously. Hey, we'll take these chairs and put them back on the side.